It'd be great if I just did that and took off.
Morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to our channel. Lots of our regulars are here. We can see that already. But if you're new to our channel, a whole load of stuff goes on here. This Coffee Moaning, Monday through to Saturday. We do cookery, we do gardening, we do our family reality show, movie reviews, TV reviews, trailer reactions. We are busy bees. Something is uploaded every single day here. Very unusual, I know, but that's what we do. We are almost full-time content creators. So we create a whole load of fabulous shit for you guys. So hit the subscribe button if you're new here. Doesn't cost you anything. And the notification bell. My sister said to me the other day, she only recently discovered that when you say subscribe to YouTube, that you don't have to pay. It's interesting, isn't it? It's a generational thing. Our generation, mostly, a lot of them don't go to YouTube. So, but they hear subscribe, they think they've got to pay.
True, yeah.
Nobody pays.
Yeah. Unless you're a member.
Of
which Martina McKeown has once again gifted 10 memberships. Martina!
Oh, Martina, that's so
You're such a bloody sweetie.
Oh.
So 10 of you will unexpectedly become members of the family.
Martina, can you email Michelle for me and just give your address? Thank you.
I just wanted to quickly say, what did I want to quickly say? Thank you for all your messages sent to me, the old ments. And thank you for many of your messages that I've seen, and perhaps you haven't seen all of them, obviously regarding your very difficult weekend. So it's been an odd 48 hours.
And I know lots of you know Hannah and love Hannah, and it was quite a day on Friday. It really was. As you know, this isn't me betraying any confidences. She's mentioned it on Instagram. Kaz, Real Titty Gritty, and my other friends, we all went with her to the Marsden, and we did get some shit news that it's now breast cancer in the lungs. That's what it's called. It's breast cancer in the lungs because it went to the liver. And so she is just amazing. She was quite obviously broken when we got the news, but already this incredible brain of hers is just like on all the different kinds of treatments and everything. And as I said to Mark, it was like, even though it was just like so horrible, it was also so life-affirming to be in something like that with somebody that you love so much, and watching Kaz's face as well, as Hannah was told, and then this amazing consultant, incredible at the Royal Marsden. My God, they don't half do some amazing work there. So, yeah. So that was it, and then we went to see Lee on the same day because we'd booked to go and see Lee in Brighton, so we went to see him at the Comedia, and he was fantastic. Please follow my friend, It's Lee Peart. We've got something really exciting coming up with him.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And and then yesterday I was at my friend Tom's birthday party. I've had a full-on weekend, and I am too old to go out 2 nights running. It's been a full-on weekend, and so I was just chatting on Instagram saying, oh God, I opened the fridge, the state of the fridge. Oh, I've got to do that today. So we were just saying, what have you got to do? Can you all give us, and Mark's got to do it as well, something you really want to do today and something you really don't want to do today? Just quickly.
I want to do the phone calls that I've got to do later. I don't want to do navigating my head.
You don't want to work with your mental, but I think it will be
No, I don't want to navigate my mental health.
That's what I mean, your mental.
Oh, right, yeah.
But I think it will be a bit easier today because you had more sleep.
Yeah, I nearly didn't because I was going to stay up to watch the Oscars.
I put on a major ban yesterday. I took control of the situation.
Yeah, I was going to stay up to watch
face. I went, I'm sorry, but I am saying something now, and you have to do exactly what I say. You are not staying up for the Oscars. When you're suffering with your mental health, really focus in on trying to get what sleep you can, because I really notice it with Mark, being the person that watches what affects him. Sleep, when that starts to go out the window, it's a disaster.
Elliot, you stayed up. Mate, I feel like I let you down. There was us texting about it and me saying, yeah, I think I might. And
It
then I
was
didn't.
my fault. I banned him.
Which is
I
her
said I was
fault.
going to leave him.
Yeah.
It was that serious.
And yeah, I think I'm also looking forward to getting ahead. I want to get ahead today. I want to get ahead.
Okay, so that's two good things. Right, let's read some out just for fun.
Georgina Demetrio, I really want to go back to sleep. Would really love to start focusing on me.
Great.
Faith
Do
Goodman.
both those things.
Sort
Because
out-
by having a bit more sleep, you will be focusing on you.
Faith Goodman, sort out boxes of stuff. Been procrastinating over them for so long. No. Naomi Proverbs, I'm spring cleaning today because I have to. Lucy Heaney, off topic, but have you watched the SNL sketch? No, I haven't, about Colin Farrell and Gleeson. No, not.
Oh, we will though. We'd love that. Thank you
absolutely.
for pointing us in that
Elaine
direction.
Flew, don't want to clean my microwave, but do want to do some sewing later. Nice, nice.
I hadn't even thought about my microwave.
Tina Davis, don't want to cook today.
Well, then don't. Do something non-cooking.
But maybe it's one of those households where everything grinds
but
to
I'm
a
just
halt
trying
when,
to think
when you
if-
don't.
You know what you could do? What about spaghetti with butter and Marmite? If your family like Marmite, it's delicious. With a bit of cheese on top, so easy.
How you feeling, Elliot? honestly, Elliot, how you feeling?
Oh, God,
Did
Claire
I make
Hemming,
the
I
right
really-
choice? Terrible
Claire
thing with these
Hemming, I really-
glasses is my bags look even bigger than
I
normal.
like those glasses. I really don't want to bath the dog. Really want to do some more crafting. I love how many people are wanting to crafting, sewing, all those things. At least you are going to do it. That's what I want to do next. I'm going to become a sewing crafter. A crafty sewer.
Well, I'm going to become a master baker.
Oh, Mark.
What's this one? Hang on, where was this one? Lost you. Washing all the curtains today. Jules.
Wow.
We
You
don't
guys-
have curtains.
You do serious shit.
You notice we don't have curtains.
We don't have
Oh,
curtains.
no, we do. We put up the one curtain rail in our room, and that was a freaking disaster.
We don't have curtains. We don't have doors. We are funny.
What is wrong with us? Do we
I
have
don't
windows?
know, we're very odd.
We don't have windows.
So much about our life, because we're both Scorpios and we're both ADHDers. To us seems normal, but to the outside world doesn't.
Sophie Clemetshaw, washing the bed throw as we speak.
Wow.
Yeah.
You guys are proper.
Yeah.
You think God Curtain Gate was something. You wait for what's coming up next.
Elliot Gonzalez, we're going to talk a little bit about it. Obviously, I did a little Oscar chat this morning about all the winners, all the riders, some of the kind of moments, all that kind of stuff. And we're going to use some of the stories from the Oscars as pegs for some of our stories today. Elliot, just want to say, tired. I actually really enjoyed the ceremony. No controversy, but some great winners, great speeches, and felt like a proper celebration of film.
Right, now you get yourself to bed.
Thank you fucking so much for not letting me watch it.
Look at you now.
And
You'd be broken.
in terms, can I just say, in terms of fairy tales, we had our own little fairy tale with these Oscars. So there was an extra sort of attachment, wasn't there, to this year's. And interestingly, I was reading to the guys last night that one of the Academy voters' notes were leaked, to the American press.
Unbelievable.
And boy, they don't pull their punches.
And we were like, God, just imagine if our film, because our film was on the long list.
He absolutely hammered two of the shorts.
Yeah.
I mean, hammered them.
Yeah. And of course, why it was so much more poignant this year was because we could have potentially have been there, because we were down to the last.
We were long-listed and Oscar qualified.
Oscar qualified film. So
Jesus. High five.
he made it.
Yeah, I kind of just thought about walking down the red carpet with Lady Gaga, if I'm honest. But anyway, what do you want to start? We can't start today without acknowledging that the junior doctors are on a 72 strike. Can I just move you on for a second?
Sorry,
and ask,
Tony.
No, that's all right. And ask a poll. Do you support the junior doctors?
On the radio today, Nick Ferrari was saying that it would cost $2 billion to give them what they want, which is nothing compared to our.
But then the nurses
and they
would
are-
cost $3 billion. I suppose the problem is that you do one and then you have to do all of them, don't you? I mean, I'm not. Jesus, I'm not saying.
I
you don't.
100% support them, the nurses and the ambulance drivers. I just think they are, as like we've said here before, they're not only striking for themselves, they're striking for the very future of the NHS and the fact that they can no longer give the care that they were trained to give. When they ask for
Thanks,
that
Ellie.
money,
Thank you.
they're also asking to support our needs.
Yes.
That's the really important thing here.
Yeah.
The NHS is collapsing. Come on, but that's not being dramatic, is it? People waiting hours and hours in ambulances, junior doctors being left to look after, vast amounts of people. They're exhausted. the mental health crisis within the NHS is again, like the rest of this country, is not good. And we need to support them to support us. If they're not well, what is it they say? Take your oxygen first before you can pass it on to the next. And that is what I see that the NHS workers are doing.
Well, I think it's just really important to remember so many people who are striking in so many sectors are doing it for the survival of their sector as much as the improvement of their individual and collective income and lives. It's breaking news. Gary Lineker to return to hosting sport for the BBC following row over migration tweets. There's one aspect, we're going to talk about the thing I've got in the title, sticking together and unity, which I think, as you're rightly saying, as this story throws up. I just want to, does anyone else get, I'm not confused as in literally confused, but I'm surprised and confused because, you know, the BBC stepping back from this, we all know, and I was talking about this last week, that many employees of especially public service broadcasters aren't allowed to express their own political opinions. And I think where this became sort of unclear is that he's not a political pundit. He's a sports commentator who is commenting on politics. And I think what's been happening behind the scenes is strong negotiations over his right to express his opinions on social media. I think he was going to walk.
But he is not an employee of the BBC.
No,
He's
exactly.
self-employed.
Exactly.
And, rather like us, with on shows that we do, as self-employed people, your employer cannot sort of tell you what to say.
Yeah.
People often ask me, "Oh, you told what to say in newsroom." I can only say what I believe. Nobody can tell me what to say, and if they were to, because I'm not an employee, I can say, well, I'm not going to say that. And so I suppose he's feeling that keenly as well.
It's understood the corporation will apologise to him. So it's very much a climb down. This is,
But their rules are very nebulous, aren't they?
The social media rules are. But if you're a journalist, you can't.
No, absolutely. But if you're not a journalist and you're bringing your own, just yourself to something, why wouldn't you be allowed to say what you want on?
Exactly.
But the thing that annoys me about all of this is that we aren't discussing the horrific policy that is being put into place. We're discussing Gary bloody Lineker. That's
I
the
see.
trouble.
I wonder what you're talking about there. You mean the asylum?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but some people have said that's what's bad about what Gary Lineker's done, is that it's taken all the attention away from
And
the
what's
topic.
going on
But I
behind
don't
closed
think
doors
that's...
with the government. See, if
Hang on. I don't think that's his fault.
No, I don't think that's his fault. But I think the Tories are very, very happy with this because it's taken the spotlight off the policy.
And the Tories won't be happy about the BBC, and
and it gets them to
guarantee
give
they're
a
going to
kicking.
fast track the licence fee
Thank
being
you.
removed.
It's all played into the hands of the Tories. So did Gary think about that?
Did Gary think about that? So what? We should all be afraid to express our opinions in case this Tory government punish you?
No, but I think his opinions, if he just hadn't brought into the discussion, if you allude to Hitler or the Nazis, then that's what everyone feeding frenzy. But if he'd given a really clear, passionate reason for hating this policy, propaganda is what he was talking about. That propaganda and gossip kills. That incrementally, as you said, when things are allowed to go and laws are broken and the United Nations are ignored, really bad things can happen. But he didn't explain it well enough, I don't think.
But he didn't also, something else about this story that's really frustrating me, he didn't say Nazis. He explained this was language akin to 1930s Germany. Minky Moo, this is really important. My nan grew up as a girl in Nazi Germany, and I can tell you now, the language and behaviour is akin to 1930s Germany, as well as it was in COVID, to be frank.
There you go.
Elsa Pop, don't like the BBC, but equally don't like Gary Lineker. Talentless, overpaid, nobody is irreplaceable. Well, here's an interesting point. They obviously broadcast a 20-minute version of Match of the Day without any presenters, and it got the highest ratings it had in absolutely ages.
No, because people were looking to see if anything was said.
Of course they were.
But what I wanted to, just quickly off the back of that, what's happened to Unity?
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, I would be a union leader. That's what I'm like.
Championing of the underdog and pulling together.
All through my life, I've been like that. And that's why I'm always supporting strikes. Was like that at school. I would get people to pull together and say, we're not having this. I mean, I remember years ago I was working on a movie and it was a low budget movie. So everyone pulls together and you work a lot harder than you would normally, and you don't, and I love that. I love that kind of working as well. But this film was really taking the piss, and there was a 4-hour turnaround. So we were finishing filming, getting sent to go to sleep, and then 4 hours later supposed to be back on the set.
Standard practice on films.
Exhausted. And we were having our lunch, which was like 4 pizzas shared between 20 of us, and we were all sitting in this room. We were eating sharing this pizza and talking. I know, don't make me hungry. And we were talking about how we need to talk to the producers and we need to reach out to them, and everybody was saying, and everybody was bitching, and everybody was talking. And I said, listen, I'm really happy to talk to them, and everyone was like, yeah. And I said, anyway, the producer walked in. The executive producer just opened the door and walked in. And so I thought, so I just, you know me, you know what I'm like. I said, I'm really glad you've just walked in. We were just all talking about the state of things at the moment, weren't we, guys? Look around the room, everyone just was frozen. So I carried on and I said everything that we did. And you know, not one fucker sat there and agreed with me.
But that happens so often.
And that's happened to me so many times.
Yeah.
And I am a great believer in knowing your worth, sticking together, the power of the people. I think we moan a hell of a lot in this country without doing enough about it.
I remember studio directing at one point, and I had a presenter who was so fucking difficult and arrogant. I mean, she was so difficult and arrogant, I once found her wardrobe assistant trying to slam her head in a door in a studio. It was a huge fight. But anyway, this presenter dismissed all of the crew as if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And there was just this. And I walked out onto the floor, remonstrated with her, sent her to her dressing room, phoned up, said to all the crew, right, I'm going to phone up the exec, I'm going to talk to him, got him on the phone, put the gallery on open talk so that everyone could hear and everyone could talk and everyone could be, in on the conversation. I said everything I said. There was this huge pause. He said to the rest of the cast and crew, and what do you all think? No one said a fucking word. No one said a word.
Actually, it was really nice the other day at work. One of my producers was saying, God, all us producers and everything dread it when you say, can I be honest, Nadia? And I said, oh no, I'm really sorry. I'm really trying to work on this. I know that I'm too and one of our producers, Jan, she said, you know what though, Nadia? She goes, it's always really considered and thought out and passionate when you speak to, and I thought, oh my God, I really loved that when she said that. Because I was feeling a bit...
We're going to call you Comrade Sawalha.
Comrade Sawalha.
Comrade Sawalha. Okay. Let's just have a look. Let's just have a look at the Oscar. Oh, God, hang on a minute. Let's just have a look at some of the stories coming out of the Oscar nominations and winners and everything last night. What do you know of the Oscars so far? Do you know much? Who's won?
Well, I know. I'm very surprised that nothing of the Irish film that we
Banshees of Inisherin
got nothing.
But a lot of
Please
people...
watch that film. It's quite a particular taste, though.
Yeah, a lot of people say it's about nothing.
In the world, oh my God,
it's about everything.
Say that? It's about being fucking human. Yeah. It's talking about how much you need love and relationships and a community. Oh, that's so nice. Rather than me.
Well, no. But I mean, I talked about it in the Oscar chat earlier. But the thing that struck me after I'd finished the Oscar chat, I think it's a curious one this year, Elliot. I don't know if you agree. Every single one of the Best Actor awards, so Best Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress, Best Actor, Best Actress, every single one of them is a fairy tale come true.
Yeah.
It really is. And I think it's the first year where you can really say that.
It doesn't matter what they've got. It doesn't matter their riches. It doesn't mean their successes. It's a Cinderella night.
Not even that, because I'm not meaning it from the perspective of everyone who wins every year is. I think this year is more fairy tale than any other year in the history of the Oscars. Michelle Yeoh becoming the first Asian woman to win Best Actress. Phenomenal.
So, now this was the one, but the story was that she was almost taken out of the
running. There was a controversy because she shared an article that basically said Kate Blanchett's won too many Oscars, she doesn't need to win another one.
And you're not allowed, there's rules.
Potentially broke the Academy Award rules. I'm on my own in thinking Tar is one of the most overrated pieces of pretentious twaddle I've ever seen in my life.
Which is the Kate Blanchett one, not
and I accept I'm in totally a minority and I'm potentially wrong, but I don't care. So I was delighted to see Michelle Yeoh win. Ke Huy Quan won. Obviously, he's infamous for being a child actor in Indiana Jones and the Goonies. And a 30-year sort of gap, 40, is it 30 or 40-year gap?
So much.
And he wins. He went a true fairy tale. A child star goes on to win the Oscar. Obviously, his mum was ill at home, and he said, "Mum, I've won an Oscar." I mean, can you believe?
But you have to search. I don't know what his speech was like last night, but what was the one where he was
the Golden Globes?
The Golden Globes. Yeah. You have to watch his speech. You will fall so in love with him because he was just so grateful, wasn't he?
And then the other fairy tale is Brendan Fraser from George of the Jungle and The Mummy, a pin-up star through all his own battles, all his own issues, starring in sort of unnoticeable films, etc. And then he picks up the Best Actor for The Whale, in which he plays a morbidly obese.
Can I just tell the story quickly for him to discover? Because I love this story. So he was out in the wilderness. And the director of Whale, the writer, had been looking for 10 years for the perfect actor for this film. Nobody was right. Anyway, he saw a trailer for a low-budget Mexican film that Brendan Fraser was in, and he went, "That's my actor." Yeah. And here he is, and he's won the Oscar.
I know, it's just wonderful.
Beautiful.
It's just wonderful.
Oh my God. I'm going to watch the film, and I know you and Nanny Dive reviewed it, but I think we need to review it because of the subject, right?
He is spectacular. I had lots of reservations about the rest of the film.
Mark's done a whole Oscar chat
this morning.
So you can we put the link up after the week?
And Jane, and the other one, which you might think, well, how is this comparable to the others? It's entirely comparable for me because Jamie Lee Curtis has been 45 years she's been part of the acting community. What makes this, for me, really fairy tale, and I don't know if you agree again, Elliot. Elliot runs I Talk Telly, please follow him on Instagram. Is that when she was on the red carpet, she's been around for years. I know there's the whole Nepo baby thing, nepotism and all that kind of malarkey. She's been working. She's fantastic in Everything Everywhere All at Once. And also, when she was on the red carpet, one of the interviewers said to her, I saw this before I fell asleep, said, "Oh, have you got your Oscar speech ready?" And quite understandably, she was like, "Oh, don't be ridiculous, of course I haven't." And because she genuinely didn't think she was going to get it.
What do you mean nepotism? People still picking up because her dad was Tony Lee Curtis. Are you joking?
Tony Curtis and Janet, yeah. It's a big thing in Hollywood at the moment, Nepo kids. Yeah.
She's very talented.
For her whole career to get this at this point, I think is absolutely
and do you know what?
Phenomenal.
I just love her. She is one of those stars that I know I'd have a friendship with her because I've met a lot of them and quite a lot of them are very not empty inside, but you can see she's just got so much going on, hasn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Reese Roberts, it was such a beautiful love letter to immigrant children and parents who seek refuge for a better life and have to deal with all the challenges of starting anew yet succeed anyway. Very timely. Yeah.
Such a poet, Reese.
Ke Huy Quan obviously is the second person of Asian descent who's won Best Supporting Actor, and he's Vietnamese. So he's the first Vietnamese actor to win an award. Sorry, I've got loads of text coming in at the moment. Solomon makes films. It's all legacy, not quality of the nominated performance. Legacy for Jamie Lee Curtis, you could argue that. I think she's sensational in the film. For God's sake.
Don't worry, but just leave it
No, but I can't see. But the other award that no one's really talking about, that I think is really, really important, is Charlie McKeesy winning for his film, his new animation, The Boy, the Mole, the Fox and the Horse. Talk about an ascent.
I saw something on his Instagram this morning written on loo paper saying I'm in the toilet again at the Oscars. I didn't think he was actually at the Oscars.
I didn't realise he was there before.
And he won.
Yeah, they won for their best animated short. Best animated short.
Yes, it was beautiful. That's the one that Paddy loved so much, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Although it was odd because the mole didn't have fingers. I still haven't recovered from that.
we couldn't get on with that, could we?
So I think those awards, obviously Everything Everywhere. And so for me, I just thought it's really nice because fairy tales, these stories, we had our own short-lived little fairy tale. Fairy tales happen at any stage in your life. And I think the wonderful thing for Michelle Yeoh and Ke Huy Quan and Jamie Lee Curtis and Brendan Fraser, this is about getting older and your horizon and ambitions not narrowing.
I love that.
Do you know what I mean?
I love that way of looking at it. Yeah, I was saying to the girls the other day.
That's the collective
One of the
thing I've
brilliant
taken
things
from it.
about getting older is that I really, truly, truly now understand that you never know what the fuck's going to happen, and that plans, because they're at that age where everyone's saying you've got to lock down what you're going to be, the way your life's going to go. And we always say to them, just don't, because like, you just never know. And this was like you just never know Oscars, wasn't it? For us as well this year when we were on the long list. The fact that we've now got an Oscar accredited film.
Yeah.
Last year, if we'd been sat here saying this, talking about, we would have gone, how utterly ridiculous.
Yeah, Elliot, you find the age of the winners inspiring. Absolutely.
do
And
I.
it's not that Keiki Kwan is old, but this just shows you. I mean, I often said, I remember working with someone years ago on a project that we were doing for the company, and I said, life and achievements doesn't run in a narrative order all the time. It's not cause and effect. It doesn't mean to say you have different peaks and different troughs, troughs across your life. But sometimes in certain areas, for example, you might peak early, or you might hit a success in a certain way early. You know, there's this kind of false narrative that we move through our life, and we accumulate and get to the point where it's "Ba-da!" and someone goes, well done. Doesn't work like that. Just doesn't work like that. Do you know what I mean? So, but I just wanted to share this other thought. Hugh Grant caused a bit of a stir. Did anyone see Hugh Grant's interview on the red carpet with, is it Ashley Graham? She a model?
Yeah.
Model?
No, she was a dancer in the Pussycat Dolls or something.
Yeah, it was shocking that Austin Butler, Elvis got nothing, and Banshee's got nothing. Quite surprising that.
So he's furious about Banshees.
It's unbelievable. I thought it was going to at least win Best Original Screenplay, especially with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I feel really
having won
sorry for
7.
them.
Yeah, I do
because they
too.
probably really felt they were in with a chance.
It was
Lucy Heaney stayed up and found it boring.
Yeah, well, I'm pleased I
go.
didn't stay. But as I say, lots of fairy tales happening.
Cheap jokes about the Irish. She said lots of cheap jokes.
Oh, were there? I don't know. Hugh Grant was incredibly rude on the carpet to Ashley Graham, and I just wondered whether we should talk about the fact that when, for celebrities, they get asked she did say to him this, she asked him this question, and I mentioned this earlier. What was it like being in Glass Onion and Knives Out story?
That is a terrible
It's a
question.
terrible question, and especially terrible given that this is no exaggeration. This is no exaggeration when I give you the duration of his appearance. 3.5 seconds. He opens the door. It's a gag.
So she hadn't watched it.
It's a gag. And he obviously just thought,
God.
fucking hell. And then she said to him, what are you wearing? Because, of course, you ask everyone, oh, Versace. He said, my suit. So he's a bit of an arse. But people have split down the middle. One says, what ridiculous question. What do you think, guys?
It's a ridiculous question, but I would never, ever... Well, what did he do? I don't know what he said. I would never be rude to somebody.
He said I was in it for 3 seconds. He didn't answer anything.
No, but what's he supposed to say?
Well,
I mean, I would have done that with a smile. I would have said,
he didn't do it with a smile.
I would have said, oh God, I wish I had a better story for you, but I only opened the door and closed it.
Jennifer Winter, so someone asked you a slightly rubbish question and you get to be really rude back.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Don't
No,
agree.
you don't.
No, I know you don't agree either. It's outrageous. When I see...
Melanie Williams, I have it. Yeah.
Well,
Sorry.
in our business, we've seen a lot of that.
Oh my God, it's the most ridiculous question. Well, I think one of the classic questions that people ask when you're shooting any sort of like documentary, factual entertainment show, whatever, this is the question that most presenters, most members of the public, how do you feel?
Oh my God. When I did MasterChef, I got asked it 5,000 times. In the end, you just want to cry.
It was
In
a
the end, you
pointless
want to
question.
say, can you just tell me what you want me to feel? Because I've got nothing
Yeah.
else I'm going to elucidate on.
But there is this aspect actually.
How do you feel?
But it's like, I do feel for actors and everything, though at the end of the day, they're getting paid a fortune to kind of do this stuff, and it's their project. Like junket interviews. A junket interview is where you'll see them on TV. They sit in chairs with a poster behind them, and 10-minute slots for all the broadcasters and radio shows. They all print journalists. Elliot, you must know that. You get sat down. And it's very hard to make an impact if you're asking the same, what was it like playing the role? They'll have answered that 60 million times.
I do know a number of people that have
don't have
worked
to be
with
rude.
Hugh Grant, though, and say that he is absolutely lovely and
Yeah, I've heard that.
charming. I mean, he has an absolute loathing for the press. He does. I mean, he just does because of everything that happened with him and what he knows about what happened to a lot of other people. But yeah, I've never heard a bad word about him actually on sets and working with people. So maybe he just had a bad day. But you know what? I would never have a bad day that I talk to somebody like that.
No, exactly. Well, that's my thought.
Just wouldn't.
That's my thought.
Would we? You just don't, do you?
He's also, final point on the Oscars, he probably was the first ever person to stand on the stage awarding and handing out an award or receiving an award who compared his face to a scrotum. So Yeah, that's quite. That's
It's
a
very
first.
self-deprecating.
Well,
and I
very
like that.
self-defecating almost. Okay, Katie Price. What's this? Katie Price vows to lose weight after Thailand trip after family's cheeky remark. What's happened here?
Well, I think they've said to her, you're putting it on a bit, and she's saying, right, I'm going to get home and lose it. So,
Should you ever say that to someone? That's
well, she has a very open, she has that kind of
Right.
banter with her family and stuff, doesn't it? But we often talk about whether partners should say anything about your weight. But I can't remember us ever talking about what if your family do. And the way that
Right.
families do.
Yeah.
And I've got a good story on this because years and years ago, I mean, I was like 18, 17. I went off for a year traveling by myself and I was just like in full eating disorder, overeating mode. Of course, nobody in my family thought that I had disordered eating or anything like that because we never spoke about it, but I was seriously binging. A lot of the time I was in America, first of all, I was just overwhelmed by the bloody food, but also it was so fantastic. But also when I look back, I was actually very anxious about being away and doing all these really scary things on my own, and I was medicating with food. Anyway, enough said. I came back from my year away, met my family at the airport because we were going to go straight on their summer holiday to the south of France. Anyway, so we're in the south of France, and one of my family members, I won't say who, Mum, suggested
Was it
that,
your mum? Oh,
yeah, suggested that they should try and get a photo of me that then could just be in the pile of
my
photos,
God.
so that I would then just see myself. Because you know how you can just keep piling on weight, can't you, and not know. Like you start avoiding looking in mirrors. You don't weigh yourself. You're just wearing baggier and baggier clothes. So suddenly you look up and like most of your wardrobe you can't put on anymore.
Yes.
So I actually think it came from a really good place. And I didn't know any of this. Anyway, we got to looking at the photo album, and years later the family told me this, and we've laughed lots about it since. And I saw this photo of myself, and it was my sister's boyfriend at the time, Dina's boyfriend at the time, that had been given the task of getting like a photo to show me what you look like. And the photo in the album was just this.
Oh.
From here to here, with me like that, with 3 rolls.
Oh, so it made no sort of. It didn't try to hide the fact it was just about.
Well,
your
no, I
weight.
mean, I was like, oh my God, is that me? I still didn't think. But here's the thing.
Here's the thing, guys.
Years later, when I looked at that photo, I would love to have had a stomach like that.
Oh right, okay.
It wasn't, I mean,
Yeah,
Dina
yeah.
says to me, it came out like this.
Right.
You came out of the airport, had a skull cap on and fizzy, hippie hair.
Right.
And she said to me, she was so shocked when she saw me. Yeah. She said, you look like you'd been blown up with a bicycle pump. But that's my sister. That's how we talk to each other.
They don't mince their words. That's your mum and your sister. Bloody hell.
But that at that age did work for. I went into a dire straits and like hating myself and overeating, because that's quite often what happens to me. If I feel fat, I can go the other way. But it did kind of get me on the right track, and I did lose weight.
So it helped. It nudged you.
We didn't know who you were when you walked through the airport, Tina said.
Did it
You just
destroy-
looked so fat.
But could you connect what they said to your over the years developing trauma and issues around weight loss?
No, they were there way before that, and nobody had any clue of it.
So they didn't have to, because I remember my nan would always say this thing of, Mark, the Adderleys, they run to fat.
Yeah. But in those days,
You
we're
run to
talking,
fat.
how many years are we talking about? 30 odd more years ago. Everybody thinks twice before they say everything now. It was funny the other day, Frankie Bridge said to me at work, she said, now, Nards, can I ask you something? And I hope you don't think I'm being funny or I'm being rude. She said, but have you lost weight? And I kissed her. I said, please say that. We've got to a point now where nobody can say if you lost weight. And
Can you not?
our boss said, well, I haven't got a boss, but our editor said, I think it's all right in this forum for us to ask each other if we've lost. No, because you never know. Somebody might have lost weight from illness. They might have lost weight from an eating disorder. So people have become a lot more aware of
Right.
that. But I like it when people say to me, have you lost weight?
Yeah, no, fair dues.
So I worked hard. I'm working hard to stay healthy.
Okay, so a final story, and I do
I
want
just wondered if what just people thought about that.
Oh yeah, okay. Jenny Ella Cook, they should be saying to her, concentrate on your mental health and get into a 12-step program. It does feel like addiction that's going on, certainly with her. When you showed me the fact that she'd had another boob job,
She does get therapy. She does get a lot of therapy.
May Edmondson, I watched a super interesting lecture on the neuroscience of eating disorders, and it just takes an energy deficit to trigger anorexia. Super scary. Wow. Vicky Waiting, I've had an eating disorder for 30 years, but my mum also is my biggest trigger with the comments. It's interesting, isn't it? Who can become, I mean, in a weird way, my nan is the biggest trigger in every aspect of my life because, in a sense, she was the sort of maternal figure for great chunks of the year in a way that was most maternal, in a sense. My mum wouldn't mind me saying that. But, you know, it's they go deep like the words in a stick of rock. Cut me open and there it is. The Adderleys run to fat. Yeah. You know, and that kind of stuff. But anyway, look, final story.
Look after your gut. That's the best way to help your weight. Look after your gut. Search it. Look at all the information that's out there now. It is really, really, really important for mental health and physical health. And a side effect is if you look after your gut, you lose weight.
Lady Gaga, apart from rescuing someone who fell over, having her bottom tapped, I think, by someone who she picked up off the floor. Lady Gaga arrived, I think, in a most stunning Versace dress and then went backstage, pulled everything off, put on a pair of jeans and a t-shirt, removed all her makeup and sang her song from Top Gun. And I just wanted to say, I thought she looked...
I love her natural.
Absolutely stunning.
She's so
without
beautiful.
makeup.
I've never liked Lady Gaga dressed up, ever.
Never.
Just some faces are just so much better. The film that we love, Star
is Born.
Star is Born. God, she's so beautiful in that, isn't she?
So,
and she said Bradley Walsh, not Bradley Walsh. What's it?
Bradley Walsh, doesn't he present The Chase?
Yeah, what's Bradley Cooper? Bradley Cooper. You know, when they first...
Just imagining Bradley Walsh in the film.
You looked very cute there.
Did I?
Yeah, you just pulled. Do you want to be my boyfriend?
Yeah, all right then.
And he said, just take it all off. You know, he saw the... You always say that to me, take it all off.
But what do you think? Is it right?
But,
yeah, take it off and take your makeup off. But I mean, I just thought that was great. I thought that was a really nice thing, you know, to do. And she looked beautiful. And I have to say, I do prefer women without makeup.
Oh, she's so beautiful.
Because all I find with makeup is, it's artifice.
No, you like a little bit. You don't like it if it feels like there's a totally new face.
But it's like we were watching a Hey You show last night, and it looks like everyone has gone to the same place to have apple cheeks, or do you know what I mean?
Like, what have they put in there?
Have they
Can
put
you get
in?
cheek implants? Get going on and on
Well,
about
like
it.
breast implants.
It's this when too much is put on the lip.
But it's all the filler and all that kind of
I
stuff
don't
that
mind,
they put into
like
these
somebody's
people.
putting a little bit in their lips. You know, if their lips are shrivelling a bit with age, I get that. But why go so far that this bit of the lip sticks up like that? It's just such a shame.
I mean, we were talking over the weekend, Courtney Cox was talking about the fact that fillers absolutely destroyed her face. So she ended up having to take them out because I think they only last for 2 years, she said. And she, you know, she looks, I mean, she just looks strange in Scream. I mean, she just does. And something's happened, like fillers have pulled her face out and now it's gone back in and it's like...
The thing is, she was using them many, many years ago.
Right.
And I think... No, stop. Oh, can you get it?
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
I'll get it.
Well, shall we end? Do you want to say goodbye?
Oh, bye, everyone!
Well, look, have a